What's up, guys? Crypto Muser here with your daily news and analysis in the crypto markets. So yesterday we had some more news come out with the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. We had Joseph Hall. He was a former SEC employee. He was the managing executive for policymaking at the SEC. And he was on the Thinking Crypto channel with Tony Edward. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. Also, I just want to give a shout out to the Thinking Crypto channel. It's a great channel to watch on YouTube. Tony gives some great interviews. He always gets, big executives in the crypto, or he gets Congress people or other YouTube influencers. Just a great channel all around. So the Thinking Crypto channel on YouTube, definitely check him out. But he had Joseph Hall on a couple days ago, and as a past SEC employee, he definitely had a lot of things to say about the SEC and how they kind of maybe botched this case from day one, and that they maybe shouldn't have even gone after Ripple in the first place. So let's just get into the article where they mention some of the main things that he said in this interview. So according to Hall, the SEC has a lot riding on this lawsuit, and their entire regulatory effort may be effectively shut down if they fumble on the merits. Ripple has a strong defense on the grounds that the SEC failed to give them fair notice of its investigation, according to Hall. Individuals and corporations are required to be notified if they are being scrutinized by the regulator. The XRP community has expressed its dismay and concerns since the beginning of the lawsuit. According to Hall, the lawsuit against Ripple may not end up in the manner anticipated by the SEC. The judge in this lawsuit may only ask one question: If you are aware that XRP is a concern and have knowledge of it since 2012, why now? Right? And there's two things to unpack in this article here. So in the beginning, when Hall says there's a lot riding on this lawsuit and the entire regulatory effort may be effectively shut down if they fumble on the merits. I've been kind of saying this a lot in this channel. This case has a lot to do with crypto as a whole, because if Ripple wins big in this case and there's a bad settlement for the SEC, that takes a lot of power going forward for the SEC, right? So what does that do for the rest of crypto? If there were businesses coming out in the future that were afraid that maybe the SEC would come after them and try to sue them, like if you saw in that BlockFi case, $100 million settlement, that puts most businesses out of business. $100 million fine, especially a new business, that's detrimental, right? So effectively, if the SEC loses power over crypto, that kind of helps other businesses. It takes away that fear factor, right? Right now, the SEC, what they have right now is this fear in the market that they can come after anybody, right? Gary Gensler won't give anything. You won't talk about any specific coin or project, because he wants to leave it up to that fear in the market, where you don't know if the SEC could come after you, could come after whoever, right? But in this case, if Ripple really wins on all the merits and the SEC butchers this case, like it looks like they already have, it takes away that power from the SEC. So what Hall is saying here is that this makes no sense that the SEC would even come down with this case, because it's going to take, like I said, that power away from the SEC. And if you think about it, the way Ripple or the way the SEC is approaching this case with Ripple now, it seems like they know they're going to lose, right? And at this point, they keep asking for extensions to delay the case as much as possible, right? It's been a year and almost 2 months now, and it seems like that delay tactic is like the biggest power the SEC has at this point. So if you think about it, by delaying this case and delaying a judgment or a settlement, they can, in the meantime, they can go after. They still have the power to go after all these other, crypto exchanges and other lending platforms, and that's what they're doing, essentially, right? You're seeing them going after Binance US. They went after, like I said, BlockFi, Celsius. It's almost like they know that they're going to lose power in the future with this Ripple case. So in the meantime, they're going to use that power and that fear to get settlements and go after other platforms, like I said. So it's very, that's the feeling I have in this case, is that they know they're going to lose. They know they're going to lose some power for sure at the end of this case. So in the meantime, they're going to use that power to bring as many cases as possible in the crypto space. But the other thing that Hall mentions at the end of this article here is that he says, if you were aware that XRP was a concern since 2012, why bring up the case 8.5 years later, right? That's the big question the judge is going to ask. You know, if you thought there was a problem here, if you thought that XRP was a security and Ripple was reckless and they were selling XRP as a security and this was illegal, why wait 8.5 years to come with this case, right? And there's actually an internal investigation within the SEC in 2018 where they came to the conclusion that XRP, or they didn't have a case against XRP being a security. So if that happened in 2018 within the SEC, what changed in those 2 years? And especially what changed in the last day of Jay Clayton's term there in the administration? Why start the investigation, or why start the case on your last day at the SEC? So nothing makes sense in this case. One thing after another comes up in this case, and it just doesn't seem like the SEC was prepared. It doesn't seem like they really have a case. They never really did have a case. And I think they're just grasping at straws at this point. And it looks bad for the SEC. And like I said, it's going to take a lot of power away from the SEC when this actually finally settles, which I think is going to happen soon. So let's get into another filing. Another just something to solidify the fact that the SEC is just, backed into a corner, and they're really just every term, every filing they're trying to make just blows back at them, right? So this was yesterday also. James Filan, always giving us the updates on this case. He tweeted this out. SEC files request to file certiorari reply regarding motion to strike, citing SEC versus library case decision in which New Hampshire federal judge granted judgment on the pleadings on an unrelated selective enforcement defense. So why would the SEC bring up this case as defense against their motion to strike the fair notice in the Ripple case? They're trying to say that library lost this case and settled, but the SEC are trying to say that the motion to strike the fair notice defense should apply in the Ripple case because they won this case, but it makes no sense. And listen to what, if I can scroll down, listen to what John Deaton says down here. This isn't a big deal. The SEC wants to write another paragraph or two based on this library case decision that came out in February 7th. Even if Judge Torres denies the request, the SEC brought the case to her attention by this letter. The library decision has little to zero impact. So let's see what Jeremy Hogan, the other XRP community member attorney, he says, in the library case, library actually asserted a fair notice defense, and not only did it not get struck down by the SEC didn't even try to strike it down. So how a trial level court striking a completely different affirmative defense in the case is relevant, I don't understand. So exactly, but just the fact that the SEC brings this case up to the judge, it actually, and the funny thing is they're trying to bring this up as evidence to help them, but it actually is hurting them in the end, right? Because in this this case with library, library tried to argue the fair notice defense, but it never got stricken down by the SEC. So why even bring this up as a defense against fair notice when it's actually going against your case? So let's just see, actually down there, let me see if he says something else here. Okay. In fact, I'm sure that Ripple will use a little legal judo and spin this into a positive for it because the SEC didn't even try to strike down the fair notice in the library case. Sometimes you don't want to Sometimes you don't want to try and throw every case into a pleading. This is one of those times, I think. So just like Jeremy Hogan said, what did Ripple do? That exact thing. So James Filan posted this. Ripple responds to the SEC. Library separately pled a fair notice defense that the SEC did not even ask the court to strike, and which remains pending in that case. The SEC's omission in this fact on the certiorari reply application is remarkable. So exactly what Jeremy Hogan said. The Ripple used that exact filing right against the SEC, and the judge is going to see this and be like, "Oh, I didn't even want to look at this case, but I guess I'll look at it now." And the SEC, you guys didn't even try to strike the fair notice defense in the library case. So how are you all of a sudden trying to strike it when in this case, right? once again, the SEC just doesn't seem prepared in this case. And like I said, it's almost like they don't know what they're doing. Sometimes I'm in awe because obviously the lawyers at the SEC should be top in their class, right? They should be some of the best lawyers out there in the country. I mean, you'd hope that the SEC would hire some of the best attorneys in the world, if even, but it just seems like Ripple has better ones, right? It just seems like at every turn, and it just seems like the SEC is like just giving Ripple more and more evidence and more in this case. And like I said, one thing after another, the SEC is just botching this case, So it's pretty unbelievable. But let's get into the next thing I want to talk about. So digital asset investor, he's been a rock star in the XRP community. If you don't follow him and you're an XRP, you're missing out because he's been putting up absolute fire for the last couple months or so. But he's from Georgia, great guy. Can't say enough about the digital asset investor, one of the leaders in the XRP community. But so he tweeted this out. I agree with Perrine DC on the digital chamber. Let me just see, what is the name of this? So it is the Chamber of Digital Commerce and the world's leading blockchain trade association. So it's basically a blockchain and crypto advocacy group, right? And she is one of the employees, or she works for them. And she was on in this interview, and she said, or digital asset investor said, I agree with her when she says we represent the industry as a whole and not just one specific business interest. But he says, why have you done nothing to support Ripple in this case suit, or John Deaton representing 65 plus XRP holders? So, as much as, maybe they can be against Ripple or not want to help Ripple because it's a private business. But the fact that we have, blockchain and crypto advocacy groups that aren't even helping John Deaton and representing 65,000 plus XRP holders, this is the problem I have with these advocacy groups. It just seems like they're more involved in protecting, Bitcoin and Ethereum and not the whole crypto space, right? This is I mentioned this in a past video. Tribalism and maximalism is the worst thing that you can see in this space. Everybody's saying my coin's the one, my coin's the one. That leaves us divided, and it leaves us powerless when we are going against powers like the SEC and governments, like Canada, what they're doing. If we're all, united as a crypto family and a crypto community, that gives us more power to come after these people that are trying to control crypto or ban crypto. These advocacy groups need to stop this Bitcoin and Ethereum fight and bring us all together, right? So what digital asset investors are trying to say here is that you call yourselves Bitcoin and crypto advocacy groups, but you guys continually one time after another you're backing Bitcoin and Ethereum groups, but never the rest of crypto, right? It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, if we want to fight these powers that are basically trying to control crypto, we need everybody together as one, right? So, I like what he said here. I think it's so true, and I believe everybody should believe this too, right? So let's move on. And exactly why we need to band together is this right here. I saw this and I couldn't believe it, right? Canada, just doing great things, obviously, right? Regulator in Canada warns crypto exchanges not to promote self-custodial wallets. The Ontario Securities Commission sent tweets from Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong and Kraken CEO Jesse Powell to the Canadian police. So, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse in Canada, they're trying to tell people, or telling exchanges not to promote self-custodial wallets. Could there be another bigger advertisement for crypto and Bitcoin, and to self-custody your crypto? I said in my last video, guys, if your crypto is on an exchange, it is not protected, right? The exchanges, as much as they want to say it's insured or it's protected on their platform, these governments can come and take your crypto, right? And Canada is showing you that they can, right? So it couldn't be more clear to self-custody your Bitcoin and crypto. Get a MetaMask wallet. Get for XRP, a Zum wallet is a very good one. Get a Nano Ledger. Whatever it is, get a hard wallet and self-custody your Bitcoin and crypto, because it's just not safe anymore. And it's sad to say, but these agencies and these governments are going to try to control this space, right? When they realize that they can't stop it, now they're going to try to control it, right? That's just what they do, right? So the next thing I want to talk about, so Anderson, my internet is so slow sometimes. So at X Anderson tweeted this out. Don't do as they say, do what they do. And what are we seeing? The largest financial institutions and enterprises in the world are getting into crypto. And it's so true, right? Look at this tweet by Blockworks. Banks that hated Bitcoin in 2017. We had ING, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Credit Suisse, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and now banks interested in Bitcoin in 2022, all of the above. So as much as we love to see this, right? Because obviously, if, these big institutions and banks are getting involved in crypto, that pumps our bags for sure, right? But it's also, you got to look at the bad side, because, these banks and institutions are going to try to control crypto, right? For years, back in 2017, they were saying that Bitcoin was nothing. It was a bubble. We shouldn't pay any attention to it. Meanwhile, they were, under the curtain, they were getting involved, not telling us. But now, since they can't just ban it, or they can't get rid of it, now they're going to try to control it, right? So as much as we want this to happen, we want banks and institutions to get involved, to bring more money in this space and grow this space, they will slowly try to control it. And you're seeing that all around the world. You're seeing that from Russia, from, obviously you're seeing in China, where they have like a digital credit system where they can basically control what you do on a daily basis and what you can buy, and, things like that. That's just showing you how it can be used for nefarious ways. So that should, warn us that, these, governments like Canada and even the US are going to try to do something along these lines. And we need to, like I said in earlier in the video, if we're divided in this, tribalism, maximalism with different coins, it's easier for these governments and these banks to control us without a fight, right? If we're all band together, we know if we're united, we can fight this and actually, push this forward in the right way, so that these governments can't control it, right? Because it's happening. As this space grows, the powers that be do not want us with the financial freedom like we have with crypto. They're going to try to control us. They've had a monopoly on the banking system for years, hundreds of years. And the fact that we now have a way where we can, self-custody our money, right? And that banks don't control what we do, there will be a fight back, right? And we need to band together and make sure this doesn't happen. So, write your congressman, vote the right people in, use your power that you have to make sure this doesn't happen, right? So I will end the video there, guys. Just remember to please like and subscribe and comment down below. But remember, I am not a financial advisor. Please do not take anything I write or say as financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. And thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.